and I'm doing a live video. I'm doing it from my phone, so I can't always respond to what people may say. But if you do tune in, thank you very much. And if you want to leave any comments, please do so. And then I will try and respond when I'm online later. Now, no, before anyone asks, I haven't been broken into. This is the kitchen from in the house that I have rented for 8 years. Now, the problem I've had with this kitchen, basically from day one when I moved in, is that my landlord, Northern Homes, who are now apparently calling themselves Northern Homes Limited, have been an extremely negligent landlord. Okay? And if you want to quote me on that, that's fine. I know people will say, don't do it. You're going to probably get yourself into trouble legally. You're probably going to get prosecuted for slander. But when the writing is on the wall and all of the evidence of how I've been treated, at least since January 2024, has been documented with environmental health, I think it's only fair that people, especially if you are in the private rented sector, start using their voices and saying, well, hang on a minute, I'm not happy with the way I'm being treated. If I'm paying my landlord rent every single month and I phone them up, or if I write to them, or if I email them, and I say, look, I've got a burst pipe in my kitchen that I'm renting, in the property that I'm renting off you, then they are supposed to come out, if not able to do the work themselves. This is what I found out this week. They are supposed to appoint somebody who is competent, not necessarily skill trained, such as a plumber, but to come out and fix it. Now, if it's something like gas or electric, that is different. You must be a qualified electrician to touch electrics, and you must be gas safe and gas registered. It used to be Corgi, now it's gas safe, in order to touch anything like a boiler, for example. Your landlord cannot, under any circumstances, unless they are qualified and are registered with gas safe, do anything to your boiler. Okay, thank you for joining. So, over the last 2 weeks, my landlord came into the property and said, okay, I will put you in a new sink. He hasn't put me in a new sink. He's used the old one. He then told my guarantor that the kitchen had been refitted. There was nothing wrong with the property. And under no circumstances, I've even got this in email, do I need the kitchen to be either rewired, to have a plumber, have the boiler serviced, which isn't true because that needs to be re-serviced in June. It took him 2 years to service this boiler. It took 2 years of me phoning up environmental health every single day saying, my boiler has not been serviced. Hi, I can say hi, but I can't comment. So I'm on my phone. So I have had 6 burst pipes in this kitchen in the 8 years I've moved in. And I said to him that I am sure that there is rising damp in this kitchen. And he said, you're a liar. There's nothing wrong with the kitchen. It's safe. It was safe when you moved in, and it's safe now. I paid to have all these carpet tiles put down in the kitchen when I moved in. And the reason I did that was because this is the floor he gave me. And the floor that he put in, or that was put into this property, as you can see, excuse the mess, has not been put in properly. There is gaps around all of the units. If we go over here, you probably won't be able to see yet because I've not moved the fridge. And you can see here how they have not bothered to even finish off the skirting board, and that is what they've left me with. So now I, unfortunately, have got to painstakingly remove all these carpet tiles that were put down, and yes, they that one's broken, so I'm going to have to throw that away now. I would have liked to have reused them, but this isn't going to happen. I'm going to have to bin it out, which is really annoying. And that's, you know, so they're properly stuck down and wedged on. And the reason this one probably wasn't moved by my landlord was because it was under a cupboard. Right, yeah, I don't know how that's joined. I'll have to figure that out in a minute. But anyway, the ones in the centre of the kitchen, let me just move this plug. They, unfortunately, when I did take the carpet tiles up, because you could see how well fixed down they are, and my landlord decided to remove the carpet tiles himself by mucking and messing around and trying to put in a new unit. So this is his attempt of putting in a new unit at the property I live in. Let me just move this heater. And then if you look underneath here, that is how he's left it. But to add insult to injury, when I tried to relay the floor, because I didn't want to have to take up the carpet tiles, because I knew that they'd been laid professionally. This is what happened. The tiles that were put down on the floor in the kitchen came up with the carpet tile. I didn't use tape for all of the tiles because it wasn't needed, as long as it was secure enough and they didn't move. And they haven't moved. For 8 years, those tiles have not moved in this kitchen. And every time there was a flood in the kitchen, I would wet vac the kitchen myself to make sure it was as dry as possible. And I kept saying to my landlord, look, I'm sure that there's rising damp in this kitchen and I can smell it. And he was like, oh, just open the window. Oh, get a heater. Just keep the space ventilated. And what's actually happened if you can hear me, can't hear me. Then this is what is under. If you can hear me, because someone just send me a message. Yeah, sure. Thank you. And this is what is underneath my floor in my kitchen. This is some kind of fungal mold that has bred due to the floor being completely saturated and damp. There was no way that this could have been ventilated or been prevented. Hello. Because my landlord took 8 weeks to fix any of the burst pipes in the kitchen. So over the 8 years of living here, I have had about 6 burst pipes in this kitchen. And when I removed the carpet tiles that I placed down myself, because they all needed relaying, because my landlord decided to muck and mess about with them and rearrange the furniture in the kitchen to suit him, or moved my washing machine to put in this new worktop. I'll show you what he did in a minute. These tiles, which are completely rotten, came up with the carpet tiles that were placed. So if you have anything like this in your property, whether it is a rental or you're a homeowner, it needs dealing with straight away. It is an environmental health issue. And yes, the window is open for ventilation. So underneath these tiles, it looks like there is potentially the original floor for the kitchen, which may or may not be concrete, but I don't know. So I am not prepared to take this flooring apart. What I am going to have to do is remove everything that I own from the kitchen, try and place it either outside, which isn't a very good idea because it's been like -2 overnight, or put it into storage containers and put it into storage, get rid of it, or try and put it in my living room temporarily. My landlord has been notified, environmental health have been notified, but sadly I will not get a response until Monday. So I'm hoping he will come out and get this sorted. And underneath here, underneath where the washing machine was, again, you can clearly see there is no floor. So for my landlord, after I've been a really good tenant for 8 years, to turn around and say to me, your kitchen does not need reflooring, your kitchen is safe, that is not true. Underneath the sink area, I have done videos before, I daren't touch that, that's how unsafe it is. Again, he decided to use silicone to fit the new kitchen instead of fitting it properly and putting in screws. This is what he did to the tap. And because he hasn't secured the overflow safely, if that was to overflow, it actually leaks into under the sink. And all of the tiles that are showing this sort of beauty, it is beautiful. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love mushrooms and stuff, but not ones that could potentially kill me or my kids or give me health problems. You know, but it's like this beautiful tree shape that's appeared in my kitchen, which could potentially be toxic because I'm not a specialist. And then underneath, he hasn't finished off the floor. So what's happened is the water has gone under these tiles and then created a perfect habitat and breeding ground for the fungus, which is now in my kitchen. So when people are saying, how serious is it to make sure that places where, you know, you are going to have water on a regular basis, to keep them safe, to keep them dry, is extremely important, because toxic mold and mold spores in your property can cause a lot of health problems, not just for humans, but also for your pets as well. So if you have anything like this in your property, it needs to be dealt with the moment you find that you've got it. So I am going to literally have to take everything out of the kitchen that I own, and then I will leave the kitchen as it was when I moved in. And then hopefully my landlord will do the job properly this time. Because until this floor has not only been ripped out and treated, this kitchen cannot be used. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you've been able to hear what I've said. I apologise if you haven't. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you. Now I've got to try and figure out how to turn it off. Okay.